The roaring sound of engines thundered across the quiet stretch of Highway 74 as a group of Hell's Angels cruised down the road in perfect formation the afternoon. Sun burned through the haze, glinting off chrome and leather. The smell of gasoline thick in the air. Among them rode Ryder Kane, a man whose life had been a storm of rage, loss and rebellion. His leather jacket bore the scars of years spent running from pain, burn marks, torn stitches, and a faded emblem that once meant brotherhood but now only reminded him of betrayal. He had stopped believing in goodness a long time ago, ever since his younger brother had died. In an accident caused by a drunk driver who never faced justice since then, Ryder had become a man of silence and speed, riding fast enough to drown out his thoughts, never looking back, never slowing down. But that was about to change that day as the motorcycles thundered past an old gas station. Ryder noticed something so small and fragile it almost didn't register in his mind. A little girl, no older than 8, was standing at the edge of the dusty road near a broken-down blue sedan. Her pink dress was torn at the hem, her hair tangled, and her small hand was trembling as she made a motion. 3 short waves, a pause, then 1 long wave. Over and over again. It was subtle, but Ryder recognized it instantly. It was an old rescue signal, the kind used by lost hikers or people in danger if you believe kindness and second chances can change the world. Take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness, because sometimes one act of humanity can rewrite an entire life. Ryder's instincts kicked in. He slowed his Harley, causing the rest of his crew to groan and shout in confusion as they sped ahead. Dust rose as he pulled over, cutting the engine. The silence that followed was heavy. The girl froze, eyes wide, unsure if the tattooed man in black leather was someone to trust or fear. He lifted his helmet slowly, revealing tired gray eyes and a rugged face framed by a few days of stubble. "You okay, kid?" he asked in a low, rough tone. The girl didn't answer immediately. She just pointed toward the car. When Ryder followed her gaze, his chest tightened inside the car. Slumped over the steering wheel was a woman, probably her mother. Ryder ran forward, his boots crunching on gravel, and saw that the woman was breathing shallowly, her skin pale, sweat beading on her forehead. The car door was locked, but the little girl whispered hoarsely, "She's not waking up. Please help my mom." Without hesitation, Ryder shattered the window with his elbow and unlocked the door. The smell of gasoline filled the air. He checked the woman's pulse, weak, but there her seatbelt was jammed, and he noticed a deep bruise along her temple. The crash must have happened hours ago, yet no one had stopped to help. They were miles away from town, hidden behind a curve in the road. Ryder turned to the girl. "What's your name, Sadie?" she said, softly, clutching a worn teddy bear to her chest. "All right, Sadie, I'm Ryder. We gonna get your mom some help." He took off his jacket and wrapped it around the woman to keep her warm. Then he grabbed his phone. "No signal," he cursed under his breath. The desert stretch ahead was notorious for dead zones. He looked at his Harley, then back at Sadie. "Can you stay here and keep her awake? Talk to her. Don't let her close her eyes. I'll go get help." Sadie's lips quivered. "Don't leave us." Something about her voice, so fragile yet full of faith, broke through the steel walls Ryder had built around his heart. He knelt beside her. "I'm not leaving you, I promise." Over time, Ryder's old gang life began to fade. He sold his second bike and opened a small repair shop in town. He still wore his leather jacket, but now it carried a new patch on the back, a small stitched emblem of a white feather that Sadie had drawn for him. She said it was for guardian angels who ride bikes. Months later, one stormy evening, a police officer showed up at his shop. A bad accident had occurred on the highway. A car had flipped, and the driver was trapped. Without hesitation, Ryder grabbed his gear and followed. When they arrived, the scene was eerily familiar. Screeching tires, flashing lights, rain beating down on twisted metal as the officers struggled to free the driver. Ryder recognized the road. It was the same stretch where he had found Sadie months ago. The irony wasn't lost on him. He jumped into action, prying open the jammed door while the officers cleared debris. When they finally pulled the man out, Ryder realized he was the same drunk driver who had killed his brother years ago. The man who had never faced justice. The past came rushing back, a storm of rage and grief. He could walk away. He could let fate do the work this time. But then he remembered Sadie's words, "You're not!" From hell, taking a deep breath, Ryder turned to the medics. "He's alive," he said. "Get him to the hospital." And as the ambulance drove away, he looked up at the rain falling through the headlights and whispered, "Maybe this is my second chance." The next morning, Ryder rode to Sadie's house. She ran out to greet him with a smile that could break the hardest heart. "Mom says you helped someone again," she said proudly. Ryder lifted her up, spinning her once before. "Setting her down, maybe," he said. "But helping you two helped me first that evening." As the sun dipped behind the hills and the wind carried the smell of rain and engine oil, Ryder stood beside his bike. Staring at the horizon, he thought about how a small hand signal from a frightened little girl had pulled him out of a lifetime of darkness, how sometimes fate doesn't come with fire and thunder. It comes quietly, in the shape of a pink dress and a trembling wave on a lonely road. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness, because every act of compassion, no matter how small, can change a life forever. And before you go, comment below, do you believe a single moment of kindness can save a soul that day? As Ryder rode away beneath the wide, forgiving sky, one thing was clear: angels don't always have wings. Sometimes they ride Harleys.